Hi there traders, this is Steve Miley for FX Explained, and here we're going to take another macro watch, a walkthrough of the main macroeconomic and geopolitical events of the past week, and then looking into what we're going to be expecting going into this coming week on the macro side. So the main theme in here for the past week has been the positive soundings on the US-Sino trade talks, certainly impacting markets in here. We saw initially actually some negative news that the deal, the phase one deal could be put back, the signing of that deal could be put back from November to December, but then we had some positive rhetoric, some positive rumours that they were going to roll back, both sides were going to roll back on tariffs, and although Trump did say on Friday that he hadn't agreed to that, these positive soundings are helping riskier assets higher, and those riskier assets are also being helped higher by some positive data we've had in here over the past week. The Purchasing Managers Index data from both the US, from the ISM, the Institute for Supply Management, and also from the market, the global PMI data from market has all been very positive in here overall, and that's indicating a recovering global economy and a still strong US economy, and that is helping equity markets higher, which we'll come to shortly, but also bond markets are selling off in here quite aggressively, moving to higher yields, and that's also being supportive of the US dollar. The anticipation now is that the Fed, the last rate cut that we discussed in our last macro watch in here, that the rate cut from the Fed at the end of October is likely to be the last rate cut in that adjustment cycle, this mid-cycle adjustment that they've been discussing, and then the next move is likely in from Fed interest rates are going to be the next interest rate move from the Fed is likely to be higher, but probably not going way into 2020. So the net impact of that, as I said, it's been a strengthening of the US dollar. It's been a sell-off in US Treasury bonds and global government bonds, but also a push higher in global equity markets. European, Asian equity markets are multi-week, multi-month highs, and the US equity indices, the Dow Jones Industrial Average here, also the S&P 500 and Nasdaq making all-time new highs. We've also some impacts in here from the Brexit now in the UK taking a back seat to the fact that we're going into the election. Parliamentary session has finished. Electioneering campaigns have started, and although Brexit has kind of taken a back seat on the actual Brexit negotiations front, what we now have, Brexit is a central policy in the run into the general election. So we're going to be watching out for election campaigns. We're going to be watching out for opinion polls around the UK election. The inquiry into the impeachment of Donald Trump, President Trump in here, continues in the US, although the impact on global asset classes, US asset classes, has been minor so far. We will be watching out for potential impacts going forward. Going forward into this week, we have the Reserve Bank of New Zealand coming up on Wednesday of this week, and we have Jerome Powell, chairman of the Fed, testifying before Congress on both Wednesday and Thursday. We have a huge amount of data in here. I'm not going to go through all this data, but we have UK GDP, manufacturing, industrial production is definitely a standout with the employment data on Monday and Tuesday. Further into the week, as we said, we've got Jerome Powell there on Wednesday and Thursday in the RBNZ, but you also have a whole host of industrial production, GDP data, employment data, and inflation data coming out from the global economy. So we'll be watching that data closely alongside Jerome Powell's testimonies, and then also any kind of further developments on that US-Sino, US-China trade talks. This has been Steve Miley for FX Explained with our regular macro watch. Please do follow us on our YouTube channel, and as ever, have a great trading week. So traders, don't forget to catch us on the next FX Explained Macro Watch and all the great content on fxexplained.co.uk.